I keep saying this, but some people are just too thick to get it. Stop believing the internet when it comes to stuff about the Teen Wolf movie. I had to do the same announcement back when Google was posting the cast list, including people we knew weren't in the movie or characters that were long dead. Google and IMDb are still wrong on some of that, by the way. Now I'm getting like 3 messages a day asking what I think of the announced running time for the movie. This question is down to otherwise intelligent people believing random information posted by random people to sites like Rotten Tomatoes, claiming knowledge they can't possibly have. I can say with certainty that no one really knows how long the Teen Wolf movie will be once it releases on Paramount Plus on January 26. Everything you're reading, all these claims, are just as nonsensical as those early cast lists, because at the time of this recording in December 2022, the producers of Teen Wolf are not fully done editing the movie. But I did a little checking with my friends at Teen Wolf HQ and can tell you that the latest edit for Teen Wolf the movie comes in right at 2 hours and 20 minutes. You heard me right. We're getting more than 2 hours of Teen Wolf goodness coming to our screens at the end of next month. But keep in mind, that number could still change. It shouldn't change by much, but as the Duffer Brothers revealed back in the summer, streaming movies and series can be edited right up to the release date and even after they premiere if the need arises.
If you watch season, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but if you watch season 4 the night it came out versus if you watched it one day later, Friday, it's different. And so I think that
some of the visual
effects. It's not like story, but you're essentially patching in shots.
Yeah.
Netflix has, I don't think they've ever allowed people to patch on opening weekend, and we said, well, why not? And they said, well, it makes us nervous. And we're like, well, maybe we try it this time, and it turned out fine.
Again, Teen Wolf the movie is currently running 2 hours and 20 minutes long and will probably stay within 5 minutes of that one way or the other. I'm getting a lot of chatter about the Nogitsune looking different in the new trailer. You are all correct in your assessments. It does look different, and here's the real reason why. Remember, Noshiko summoned a spirit to Earth for the very first time in the 1940s, and it promptly inhabited the body of a dead, badly burned soldier covered head to toe in bandages. It then stole a bomber jacket and the truck it was in and went on a killing spree. This was the body it had when Noshiko and Satomi forced it out and into its smallest viable form on this plane, that of the simple housefly. Now, when it escaped the first time in late 2011, the only fully humanoid shape it had had up until this point was the fully bandaged GI, so it projected that shape when it needed to. Then it possessed styles and made itself a style-shaped body so it could be free of the still struggling human. While it was now styles shaped, it could still take on the shape that it had before. Mainly, it did this for effect to scare people during its hallucinations. Once again, Nogitsune was defeated, this time by Scott biting it. The bite of an alpha werewolf logically is a breach of the rule that Nogitsune cannot be two things. So the Nogitsune flees back into the form of a housefly and tries to escape, only to be stopped by Isaac and the Nematon jar. So now we know Nogitsune is back. The first teaser trailer, we heard it negotiating with someone in an attempt to be set free.
You want retribution against him. His friend.
play a new game.
Now, in order for that to happen, this liberator of void spirits must be willing to host the creature in their body. Now, if you're counting, this will be body number 3 for this Nogitsune. It's a little like Doctor Who Regeneration. It's a new look, but it's reflective of all its past looks. We still get the bandages, but they're tighter, almost skin-like now. Then we have a new leather jacket, but it gives us the same bomber jacket vibe, just in a more modern cut. People have pointed out that it has claws, or, just hear me out, maybe it's just long fingernails? Think about it for a second. We have zero idea who this new host might be. They could have beautifully manicured nails. You can all guess, but there's absolutely no way to know for sure until we see the movie. And y'all really shouldn't be focusing on the look of this thing so much. Focus instead on the fact that it now has a 100% willing host, and it can do some truly insane stuff. Let's talk about Deputy Ishida for a minute. I know the actor playing our newest deputy, Nobi Nakanishi, is a friend of Jeff's for a very long time. He already showed up as 2 different characters during the run of the Teen Wolf TV show.
Superstitious idiots. You really think Yuki got in here and ate this stuff?
I doubt if you could even drag him in. Some part of him probably senses what happened here.
But his character in the upcoming movie on Paramount Plus is brand new. Up until Sunday, we knew literally nothing about him except his name and the fact that he works alongside Parrish and Mason and Sheriff Stalinsky as a deputy for Beacon County. Then that new trailer comes out, and just a few frames of video speak volumes about what's going on with Deputy Ishida.
The Nogitsune has come to play a new game.
There are 4 shots, really. He turns the corner to see the Nogitsune in the holding area. Then Void reaches out and pulls him forward with some unseen force. Then we get the real kicker. It appears that the Nogitsune is ripping a flaming fox spirit out of the body of Deputy Ishida. Now, this thing is not as big as the spirit we saw hovering over Kira, but we can assume that they're smaller when they're outside of the body that they possess. To somebody who loves the canon of this show as much as I do, this is the best scene in the entire trailer. It not only speaks to our new deputy's supernatural nature, but also points to some creepy new powers for the Nogitsune. There is a time jump in the Teen Wolf movie. This has been a week full of "I mentioned this before" type videos, but as more and more people just now discover that the Teen Wolf movie is actually a thing that is happening next month on Paramount Plus, I find myself running into a lot of the same misunderstandings all over again. One of the biggest is about the time jump between the end of the Teen Wolf TV show and the start of the movie. Now, I first reported back in April that Teen Wolf, the movie, takes place in 2026. Jeff Davis told me at the time that he sat down and worked out that year based mostly off the birth of new character Eli Hale. Davis wanted to place Eli's conception before we met Derek Hale in season 1 to avoid setting up the suggestion that his mother might be someone we already know or his birth interfering with the timeline. The action in season 1 of Teen Wolf starts in January of 2011. Eli will be 15 years old in the new movie. This means Eli was conceived sometime in 2010, and the movie takes place sometime in 2026. This date is also borne out on the banners hanging around the lacrosse stadium and this inspection sticker on the Hale Auto Big Rig Wrecker we spotted on set in Atlanta. Now, if you are easily confused by dates and timelines, just stop watching now. You have the facts about the time jump, and this next bit, well, it might just confuse the whole thing for you. So skip out now unless you're better at this timeline math than I am, because this part confused me. Teen Wolf Episode 1 is taking place in January 2011. The final episode of Teen Wolf, the majority of the action in that episode, takes place in the autumn of 2013. Since the events of the movie happen in 2026, the actual time jump is at least 12 years since the series ended. There are no baby hellhounds in the Teen Wolf universe. This actually came up in conversation this week because I ran a poll about the Malia Parrish pairing that appears to be happening in the new Teen Wolf movie, and because I have been talking a lot about supernatural reproduction lately. There are no baby hellhounds in the Teen Wolf universe, and Parrish cannot bite someone and make a new hellhound.
Who am I talking to?
Cerberus. Garm. Black Shep. I've had many names.
Hellhounds in this universe are immortal spirits who have been around since the very first human died and all the other humans wondered what the hell happened.
Ow. Where do you think you go when you die?
Want to poke him?
Do I?
Along with the Wild Hunt's Ghost Riders and the humans who are banshees, the Hellhounds are a basic part of the cosmic machinery that manages some aspects of the human afterlife. As I've explained before, the Wild Hunt and the Hellhounds are just our perception of these cosmic forces. To other cultures around the world, these same forces do not look like cowboys and growling hunks. Okay, the growling hunk form may be universal. It is Teen Wolf after all. But overall, these types of spirits are shaped by the perceptions of the cultures in which they appear. But no matter what they look like, it's all the same thing with basically the same purpose: to help us understand and deal with death and the supernatural. So, with all that high philosophical bullshit out of the way, hellhounds do not reproduce because they're immortal spirits. If the body they possess dies, they just return to the spirit realm and wait until they need to return to our reality for some reason, either to deal with death or manage some other supernatural thing that gets out of control. So, since the Hellhound is just using Parrish to get around, if Parrish and Malia were to make a baby, that baby would be a were-coyote because she is a... No, I'm not explaining that again. Go and watch the baby werewolf video if you really want to know how that works. Bottom line, hellhounds can't make new hellhounds. Before the new trailer hit on Sunday, I posted a thing about how the druid relationship with modern Teen Wolf packs supports the theory that werewolves started with Lycaon and Zeus in the deep dark past. The basic thesis here is that since druids on Teen Wolf are real, and their druid knowledge allows them to do very real things,
Weird.
and since they do support the werewolf community in an almost symbiotic relationship, the ancient stories told to us by Gerard in the episode Visionary are actually true.
Lycan sought out the druids to help turn him back to human. They couldn't make Lycan and his sons human again, but they did teach them how to shift back and forth.
In addition to all that, everything in the canon about how werewolf abilities work on the show also supports the Zeus origin story.
Draws on the power that provides you with those special gifts, the power that heightens your senses, your strength, the power that transforms your body.
We know there is a special spark of energy inside the werewolf that does all the work of shape-shifting, healing, and strength.
Scott, you're bleeding again. And don't tell me that it's just taking longer to heal, okay? Because I'm pretty sure that still bleeding means not healing, like at all.
We know the abilities provided by the spark are heavily influenced by how the werewolf is doing emotionally. We know that regular humans generate power within their bodies. That electricity makes our brains work and creates our self-awareness. Now, many cultures around the world call that energy the human soul. So long before we knew about all this internal electrical field stuff, humans decided the soul is divine. Now, this all adds up and supports the story we were told. Zeus made the original werewolves from Lycaon and his 49 sons by transforming their internal energy. It's the same internal energy present inside all living humans.